Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the governing board meeting today on March 11th. And we're going to get started with the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. And I'd like to call up Nicole Albrecht from a CNI specialist.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Next item, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Second, I'm gonna open it up for discussion. I'm going to make a small change here, so I want to pull item G3. Basically, it's just a list of recommended staffing requests. Need to make a change to basically the category of this position, safety and security specialist maintenance, from reclassification to additional position. Yeah, that's a new one, yes, sir. So it's a new position. And on the list, it appears as a reclassification, but really it's an additional position. So thank you. I'd like to amend the motion to approve the agenda as presented with that change.
I'll second it.
Okay. I'll call the question.
Sorry.
Suicide.
All right, there we go.
That time you have it.
Yeah.
Had to move. It's happened before. Maybe it's a glare when the sun hits a certain spot.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to summary of current events, Dr. Spurgeon, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Chairman Ramirez, governing board members. Several things have happened since last we met. The West Valley Educational Workforce Summit, I was able to do a West-MEC overview and an update for that group to really show the great things that are happening at West-MEC. Let's see, Speranza and Carolyn and I were able to attend the Peoria Chamber of Commerce Shine On event, where we received the Rookie of the Year award, which was fantastic. It's a person who's been here shortly and has made a big impact in the city of Peoria, so it was nice to be able to receive that. I was able to participate in the groundbreaking ceremony of Tolleson High School's Estrella Vista Academy, which is the brand new academy they're building. It's, I think, over 400,000 square feet of space. And new academy coming out. So
Where's that going?
it's going south. It's down towards PIR. It's just north of PIR and just a little west of there in that area. So that they broke ground on that this past week. So I was able to attend that. Was also able to attend the West Valley Growth Summit and participate on a panel with 3 other individuals about the growth happening specifically in Buckeye. So we were able to talk about West-MEC's role in workforce development and all the great things that are happening, out in the Buckeye area. Megan has set up a number of dean visits, but we're still working on those post-secondary pathways. We've had a number of deans, so I was able to participate. NAU sent probably 10 or 12 of their deans to our Southwest campus to view that campus and look at pathways for post-secondary opportunities for credits. We set up for the first time ever a tour for about 40 of our counselors, satellite counselors at our new Southeast campus, where Jared was able to talk about advanced manufacturing and the semiconductor space, so people have better information as we're looking to try to fill those spots with students for those programs. I thought that was fantastic. And then a week ago, tomorrow or yesterday, or whenever it was last Thursday, 2 weeks ago Thursday, we had 4 individuals from the Department of Labor come in for the new strategic initiative for workforce development. And you'll notice things are beginning to change, not only just in our area, but across the nation. In fact, I think, Matt, Matt, you showed me the new gentleman from BlackRock now is making an investment into workforce development and the big issues for career and technical education. So we're seeing things across the globe begin to look for how can we do it smarter and better. So I think that's fantastic news. We gave a tour to the couple of representatives from the BNSF Railroad that came to our Southwest campus. First time they've been on campus, looking at what career pathways might exist in their logistics center, as well as working for BSNF. So we got a chance to visit with Lacey and then her workforce development person from BSNF, which was a great tour. And for the first time, we actually had a Banner CEO on our new Southeast campus from Estrella Banner Health Center. Took a tour of our Southeast campus to look at what career pathways were necessary or needed in her workforce pipeline. And so we had a great conversation with her. And Noelle Trender was also with her as well. So we had a great conversation there. We had a discussion, other meetings. We had a discussion with Tolleson Union High School District about them looking at a bond issue this November. If that passes, they would be looking to put the new their core academic center just south of our new Southeast campus. And one of the unique asks from them was, would it be possible for all the students on that campus to be able to attend the Southeast campus or a CTE program? The answer is it's possible. So what happens is once the students are notified, once they make application, they're notified at the end of January, 1st of March, they're notified. So any student that would be in Tolleson could attend the actual academic core center and then attend West-MEC as a part of the program, because the academic core center will not have any extracurricular activities, no clubs, no sports, no nothing, just core and CTE. So we'll be looking at that model moving forward, which could be another national model for people to follow as we look at that piece. They will present an update for the Agua Fria Medical Academy, or their consortium. They continue to look for pathways for their students in their academies of the Southwest model, moving into those career pathways of medical. So I was able to provide that. And then we met with Wickenburg Hospital and Natterburg, looking at Wickenburg Community Hospital, Natterburg, and West-MEC will be doing a collaborative grant. And I can't remember what the grant's called. It's the transportation, rural healthcare, transportation, something. But it's not money for facilities, but it's for equipment and supplies and things. They're looking for ways to be able to get a site on it with Natterburg and with West-MEC up in that 85 acres. And so thanks to Mr. Garcia, he was able to get me in contact with OEO. And so we got a meeting set up with them to get more information about the grant, what you can do, what you can't do, those kinds of things. So thank you, Mr. Garcia, for doing that. And let's see, and then we finished up the assistant campus administrator interviews, and we have a recommendation for one of our internal employees for that position here this evening. So with that being said, busy times, a lot of great things happening. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate all the great work that's being done by all our staff out in the buildings, and get ready to start our TSA testing here pretty soon. And we're looking for great results on there as well. And in fact, I heard today from a person or two that some of our high value credentials were even ahead of schedule than what we were last year of those students achieving those high value credentials. So just great news all around. And so we're looking forward to a great fourth quarter and another tremendous recognition ceremony coming quick.
Good.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Moving on to the governing board. We'll start with Mr. Garcia.
We did speak with the Department of Labor, as the superintendent said. Aside from that, that's the only event that I attended, but I attended a lot of meetings. That's a lot to do with CT. That's a whole nother conversation.
And Chairman Ramirez, one of the things that Mr. Garcia really brought to that conversation was being at the state level, people recognize how complicated the process is and paperwork and how different they are from state to state. So his voice really mattered. And also Mr. Molina was there as well. And Ms. Wiley was also there as well. So we had 3 board members that attended. And just to know there's just so much red tape and bureaucracies that just slow things down, and really no level of accountability for a lot of money that goes out in the systems that are in place. And so just a good conversation, get things started to hopefully make it better.
Good. Ms. Bosom?
Well, let's see, Mike Johnson, who was gracious enough to take me on a tour of the Agua Fria campus. So I got to see all of that, and then really looking forward to the complimentary programs that are coming up next, and a big West-MEC marquee in front. Cause that's the only thing that was missing. But yeah, it was really great. So I wanna tour the new Southeast campus next.
That's good. Yeah, I wanna go on that
So
too.
you get a chance to do that.
Awesome. Ms. White?
And I attended that meeting that was talking, I don't know if I've done anything else, I can't.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Strong.
Great meeting though.
Mr. Strong.
I think one of the most interesting things I had this past month was watching the bond sale. Mr. Lundberg, I know you're gonna laugh, but when the bond orders came in, they all filled up, except I think it was year 14, Ryan, keep me honest. Years 1 through 20 all oversubscribed, in 1 year, for some reason, was about 25%, and I know they move people around, but it was just kind of fascinating to watch that 90-minute period of ordering. And 1 year just didn't fill up for whatever reason, so
But you can buy those extra bonds?
I did buy some. And out of that year.
Jim, here's one of the interesting things, and Ryan, correct me if my numbers are wrong, but you know, we had $200 million to sell in bonds. We actually had people wanting over $1.2 billion. That's how popular our bonds were.
Wow.
In fact, and I hate to say this with David in the room, but we got the same level of treatment as ASU would be considered when they put their bonds out. That should tell you something.
It's good.
Well, we know that already.
Sorry.
So yeah, it was the coupon amount, because instead of opening it to market rate, we are paying a 5% municipal tax free for both state and federal. So if you buy a corporate bond, you'd have to be at 6.5% to 7% interest, as opposed to 5% at West-MEC. So it's a very attractive investment. And that also resulted in, I think, Ryan, something like $34 million in bond premium above what we paid, or something like that, around that as well.
Well, the other big news was, you know, we anticipated a threshold of saving $500,000 for the refinancing of the bonds. We got well over $1 million back in refinancing our bonds instead of the 5. So it was a good day for us.
Yeah, it's great news for us, Mike. Awesome. Mr. Molina?
Well, I also attended that roundtable with Department of Labor, and what I found really gratifying is the number of industry partners that also participated in that meeting. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Barb was the catalyst that created that meeting. She made some introductions, which all of a sudden introduced one person to somebody else who said, hey, well, maybe I need to go see that. And they came out, and we had not only 3 regional directors from Department of Labor, but also the head guy from Department of Labor, the Workforce Development Division. And what I found particularly interesting is that he was in his story, he was talking about what a great CTE program he had back in North Carolina. And then he came out and toured the Agua Fria academies, or
Is that Southeast?
at South, and then the Southeast, and then the Southwest campus out there with Aaron and his crew. And he says, we don't hold a candle to you guys. So
I've
this
actually
needs to
never
be,
seen a round
this
of-
needs to be the model for the entire country.
Yeah, he was
So-
speechless.
So
Was
thank you
speechless.
to all of you out there. All you instructors and administrators, and you guys are the ones that make that happen. So thank you.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. Call to the public. Do we have anyone from the public speaking today? No? Second call to the public. And third and final call to the public. That one? Okay. Moving on to. Recognitions and celebrations, and we have Megan Mills and Jared Guy. Who else? Anybody else?
Laura Ime.
And Dr. Laura Ime. First.
Good evening, Chairman Ramirez, Governing Board members, Dr. Spurgeon, and our community. I'd like to invite the Career Services team to come on up and join me, please. Well, if you haven't heard, West-MEC's career service team is leading the way in the nation to show just how great innovation can be in school settings. So tonight, we're proud to celebrate these professionals whose innovative approach is transforming the student experience. Focused on bridging education and industry, these professionals connect students to real-world opportunities. And through collaboration with our instructors, employers, and community partners, they create a powerful support network that prepares students to confidently launch into college or pursue a career that they're passionate about. Before I go into their specific accolades about why this team is so great, I thought I'd give them a few seconds to introduce themselves, tell you which campus they work at, and I've asked them in 10 words or less to tell us what their favorite part about their role is. So we'll start with the leader of the team, Jessica.
My name is Jessica Ruiz. I'm the Director of Career Services. I've been with West-MEC for this will be my 9th year. Started as a career coach at the Northeast campus, and this is my 5th year as the director here at the district office. And my favorite part of my role is just getting to work with these amazing, intelligent, professional women, and getting to support them in all of the things that they do for our students.
All right, my name is Silvia Espinosa and I work at the Central Campus. It's my 6th year with that campus and in the role of family services, of course. And my favorite part is just to have the opportunity to coach and to be part of the students' journey and seeing them grow in all aspects, personal, professional, and also just gaining confidence is very rewarding. So, and I also appreciate the opportunity to work at Central Campus under Troy's leadership and support.
Hello, I'm Debbie Owen. So I have been with West-MEC, finalizing my 4th year, going into my 5th year. And let's see what do I like, right?
Yeah.
So that's a hard one because I love working with the students. I do. I love it's great to see them, you know, come back and hey, I got a job, and it's so exciting. But I also like working with the industry people because the industry people, their excitement, and when they're like, I didn't realize, I thought you were at college, and that's just so cool too, to work with them. So I guess I like both aspects of the job.
Students and industry.
Yes, and I love my campus, Northwest.
I am Jennifer Combs. I am new to the career coach. I was a TOPS teacher here for the past 5 years now. For the past 8 months, I have been a career service coach. It's a totally shift in what I normally do. Sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy because I'm used to be going crazy with all the students. It's less students, but I have more time to make more of an impact on students that I never really got to kind of get a chance to work with. So I've really enjoyed getting that general education student interaction. That's been my favorite part, is being like, wow, you guys are so smart.
I'm Kendra Odell. I am the career coach at the Southwest campus, and I've been with the team for 4 years now. Everything everyone has said, I reiterate. And the thing of the week, one of the young men jogged up to me, "Hey, miss, I got a job. I used my resume." Because I had a resume, and just comments like that really are.
My name is Lonnie Temez. I'm at the Southwest campus and I've been with them for 8 months, so I'm new to the team. And again, everything they've said is what I enjoy also. So working with the students is the best part of it. And I really enjoy the mock interviews, and Mr. Molina joined us, and that was really nice. And getting to see them interact with industry partners and the excitement the kids get just being there and getting their business cards, and both ways, the industry partners love it. And so I just like seeing that.
I'm Andrea Calhoun. I'm the career coach at the Northeast campus. I've been with West-MEC for 11 years. This is my 5th year as a career coach. My favorite part, more than 10 words, I've had 2 students who graduated in 2025 who have come back in the last week and are getting ready to make a down payment on a home.
Wow.
Nice, nice.
Success stories.
Yeah.
So the work that these ladies do is incredible. The career services team recently traveled together to a national conference. And when they were there, other than the keynote speaker, their session was the largest attended. So people are really flocking to their session, yeah, to learn about what they do because they have set such a high expectation for our colleagues across the nation. Additionally, their work has gone recognized by their peers. In December 2025, they were honored with the ACTE Innovative Program in Counseling and Career Development Award. So we're extremely proud of them for that as well. Their collaborative efforts have been instrumental in students earning high-value credentials, passing technical skills assessments, and creating their career plans. West-MEC is proud to have such professionals shaping the next generation of career-ready leaders. To celebrate all that they do, I ask you to join me in a round of applause.
While we're passing those out, what were the age of the two students that are putting down payments on a house?
18.
Oh. Okay, so compare that to having tens of $1,000s in debt from having gone to college. Not that college is bad,
Hey,
but
you're talking about me now.
well, I have a master's degree also, but I was 40 before I bought a house.
Yeah.
They're making good choices. One is working overtime at an electrical company. He's working about 70 hours a week, but it's gonna pay off. And then the other is a manager at a Quick Loop. So he was an automotive technology student.
Nice. Very good.
Cool.
Thank you for recognizing them. We appreciate it. Yeah.
Mr. Jerry Guy, Superintendent for Teaching, Learning, and Campus Operations.
Hard to follow that one, but Dr. Spurgeon kind of stole the thunder of this one a little bit earlier, but we did want to take the time during our celebrations here to recognize Dr. Spurgeon for the award that he recently received from the Peoria Chamber of Commerce. Dr. Spurgeon, I'm not sure when the last time you've been called a rookie, but but on the Peoria Chamber of Commerce, he was recognized as the Rookie of the Year for his service to that chamber and the involvement with Peoria. So congratulations, Dr. Thank you very much.
For a long time.
Peoria was the original folks that came in with West-MEC, and so we've. Peoria's not a rookie, I'm just a rookie to the Peoria.
To the
Chamber.
Peoria, yes.
Yeah, Peoria's was the original.
I believe in baseball, they have a term and it's ringer. You're not a rookie.
Dr. Laura Jamie, Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
So Chairman Ramirez, Governing Board, Dr. Spurgeon, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Miss Nicole Albrecht, who is the March Employee of the Month. So Nicole has made a significant impact on our instructors through her coaching work at the Northeast, Agua Fria, and Northwest campuses. So she serves 3 out of our 5, which is impressive. By supporting new teachers, she has helped create positive onboarding and professional development experiences that have built both confidence and effectiveness in our classrooms. She's also been instrumental in developing our implementation plans, which is like our coaching model, and supporting all of our teachers around questioning, engagement, and assessment in our Grow Lab system, which some of you have seen. In addition, she consistently collaborates with all of her colleagues. She's has valuable insight during meetings, maintains clear and effective communication across CNI, our campuses, and our leadership teams. Her leadership, teamwork, and commitment continues the improvement and has positive impact on both staff as well as our program development. And she is currently using her expertise in the culinary world, which is where she came from, to help us develop our culinary that's going to be at the Southeast campus in phase 2. So we're really excited about that. And she gets to shine both in that world as well as in CNI. So congratulations. Thank you. Give me questions. Yeah, you'll sit there. Oh, and this is for you. So, don't forget to grab that.
I was spoken at the front center, sure. Flash is on that. I told them about the airport. Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Something like one more. 1, 2, 3. Congrats, Nicole.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Moving on to a presentation by Paradise Valley Unified School District, Miss Melissa Malsom, Career and Technical Director of the Paradise Valley Unified School District. Welcome.
Good evening, Governing Board, Dr. Spurgeon. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you tonight. I have 25 amazing programs at Paradise Valley, and I would take more time than I'm allotted if I shared all of those. But tonight I have a very special program, our welding program. They have done an exceptional job of real world working experiences for their students, and I would love to share that with you tonight. So please let me introduce Tyson Cartler, a teacher at Paradise Valley High School. Matt Jones, a teacher at North Canyon High School, and the Elijah and Alexa for you tonight.
They're gonna present for me.
Nice. Welcome.
So we'll start by introducing ourselves. So like she said, my name is Alexa Seipel. I am a junior at Paradise Valley High School, and I am currently serving as the Skills USA chapter and regional vice president. And I am also in Crest Engineering at Paradise Valley High School.
And my name is Elijah Liu. I am a sophomore at Paradise Valley High School. I am also in the Crest Engineering, and I am also the president of our law club and our fiber arts club.
All right, so we'll start with the presentation on the screen right now. So this was one of the projects that we did in 2016. So before I got there, but it was involved with a art teacher at Desert Trails Elementary School, and there was a design contest hosted by that school for their 6th graders. And the winning piece was then enlarged by the welding programs and then added into, it was installed at Sonoran Sky Elementary School. So as you can see here on the board, you get to see the amazing piece that they worked on and the archway that was added into their garden area.
Desert Trails now has 5 or 6, I cannot remember, pieces at their school.
Yes. Here on this slide, you're able to see a series of benches. So this was a competition. This was one of the first competitions completely separate from Skills USA and any other organization. So this was a memorial made as a student who was involved in welding sadly passed away, and their father made many donations to the school, and so to honor those donations, this memorial contest was created where Cortez High School, Paradise Valley High School, and North Canyon all got together. And as you can see, all of this was done in one day. You can see the teams of students who worked together on these benches to create this lovely memorial, which some of these benches are spread out throughout the schools. I know we have one in our hallway, and so we get to see it every day and honor the memory.
So this piece, the one that is on here is for the Desert Shadows Middle School. And we have one that is similar to this at our campus at Paradise Valley High School that has our PVHS. And it's in the entrance of our school, and they're red, which is one of our colors. And these took, this was 3 years ago, and it took about 2 years to build, you said?
This one took a year because we split the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we did our PV ones, it took 2.
Yeah, so. And then this one is for the Desert Cove Elementary. It one of the cool things is it spins, and we have one similar with our logo at PVHS, which is a Trojan head, and that one also spins. And then we also this year have been working on one that is a shark head for Desert Shadows Elementary School. That is blue and gold, and I helped make this mini version of it, and it was really cool.
All right, and then here on our last slide is another structure that we've been working at our school, Paradise Valley High School in welding. So this is a project that was initiated by a geometry class.
Yeah. So they had a assignment to create an image using geometry, and they were in a competition, and the first and second place got part of it.
Yeah, so we picked the first place because we eventually figured out how to pull it off. So we figured out how to make it in 3D with layers, because that was the hurdle we had to come up with. But we had a student from Crest that was in the internship, and she spent a good 6 months doing the CAD work on this to finish it off. As we mimicked the original art piece.
Then it was cut with our CNC plasma and then was put together and then painted this year.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you're just attracting all of these students for your program, right? Getting these all out to these grade schools and stuff. This is great.
Also, if I wanted to make some orders, place some orders, some work,
We did. Did you ever auction off like those benches? Do you ever auction those off? Because those,
Yeah.
I would imagine the public could.
We do stick some of our items in our PTO auction. And so then that money comes back to our programming. So we can fund our items.
But more public, because you probably could get even more.
They're nice pieces. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's great.
are you wanting to get in this field when you get older, or what's your big plan?
I can go first. So, when I am an adult, I want to be an engineer, but I understand that I want to be on the field and I want to be working with the machinery. And so welding I saw was an absolutely amazing way to actually get invested in that. And Mr. Carter, our teacher, has been giving us like these lectures about what like other trade schools that we could look into, and I've been really interested in those. So it's definitely a career field I am definitely considering pursuing.
Yeah, I have kind of a very similar outlook. I really like engineering and specifically like aerospace. And I'd like to go to college, but I also want to try to get a welding certificate of some sort because I do really like engineering and I think it would be a good job, but also I want to have a backup. And I love welding and I think welding would be great. And I think I could also use it. I think that would be very good for engineering to know how to weld. So that's one of the reasons why.
NASA's here in Arizona. So there's a lot of programs out there.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you want to do underwater welding, some of those guys make.
I was doing some research about that.
I went to a conference last year and some kind of level 5 or something underwater welder set their own hours and they make somewhere around 700,000 a year.
They do.
And it's like.
Well, Palo Verde, the welders that go in that deep pool, they can only go once a year and that's a $100,000 job.
Yes.
Whoa,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
crazy. Nice. Good plans. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to legislative and business partnership update. Ms. Megan Mills, Assistant Superintendent for Strategic Partnerships.
Good evening, Chairman Ramirez, governing board members, Dr. Spurgeon, and community. At the last governing board meeting, I went through a list of about 20 different legislative bills that may affect West-MEC. And as the legislative session progresses, so does everything associated with these potential bills. So today I've provided you with an outline of different legislative bills that you may be interested in learning more information about. These are the same ones that I highlighted in a special section last month. One of the ones that I took some time to highlight, I'd like to focus on tonight, and that was the first one listed, House Bill 2216. If you recall, this was an alternative diploma option for students who are focused on careers in the trades. Since the last month when we met, that bill is no longer active in the legislative session. And so while it is inactive in that legislative process, there is a second House Bill 2478, which is focused on the Arizona Commission for Student Outcomes, where some of this language or initial proposal could find its way into that bill. So I'll be monitoring that throughout the next several months. There's another bill, House Bill 4053, which is number 2, which would have required CTE electives. That is also no longer active in the legislative process. The third item on the list is House Bill 4034. That is in real time, changing by the minute. So in the last 24 hours since I printed this, there are more amendments that have been made. I would encourage you to go to azledge.gov to get those real-time reviews or those real-time updates. But the bill must advance from the House to meet Senate deadline. So that is still active. On the next page, there is item number 4, which is a compilation. Yeah, can you tell me what kind of updates have been made to it? I have a comprehensive list that I'm wondering why is it dead? Where do I start, Dr. Spurgeon? I'd love some kind of starting place on this, but
We just got a brand new update with some changes. I've only briefly read through it today, so I can't tell you what the new changes are, but I know they've cleaned up some language to only to the areas that need to be cleaned. I think that was strengthen our position as CTEDS as the oversight entity for the money that the satellite districts receive. There's also the quality of staff component that's probably still there. There's also the oversight and the quality of programs. For example, West-MEC, we evaluate all of our CTED satellite programs through our now I lost my train of thought. What's the name of the process we use, Jared?
The TQI.
Yeah, TQI. So we're the only district that does a TQI process. Literally go out to evaluate and provide oversight and accountability for all of our programs. And I'm not sure that anybody else does much of that. So I think a lot of it just has to do with cleaning up, making sure that the CTED still has control of that. The supplement, not supplant issue, I think they're cleaning up a little bit of that, but I haven't reviewed the latest changes. We just got that this afternoon, so. And I think Representative Gress went through and did some, he gets it. I think he gets it, and I think he knows what's, if it's gonna go forward, what needs to be in there, what doesn't need to be, because at the very beginning, there was a lot of noise.
I thought Passover Day was Monday where they all had to pass over between the two chambers to.
yes.
Because I heard Mr. Schupps or President Schupps say Monday was the day that if it hadn't cleared on Monday, it wasn't gonna. Is that accurate, or there's still last minute, we'll take one more?
No, it should be coming up on Monday.
Passover Day. When I was down there this past Monday, he said today, I thought it was this past Monday, 2 days ago.
It is next Monday.
Okay.
I'll find out. So item number 4, there's multiple bills that are being proposed related to different governing board topics. Some are proposing that there be an annual training session of governing board members relative to finance. There's things that are listed there. As you can see, the blue indicates where the item is. So House Bill 2318 has passed House committees and is now awaiting the vote by the full House before it moves over to the Senate. And then HB 2379, which indicates that school board training would need to be required, did pass with an amendment, and now it's moving over to the Senate for committee consideration. Number 5 is school transparency, House Bill 2075 and House Bill 2481. House Bill 2075 passed and House Bill 2481 also passed. Now they're moving forward in the committee processes. I mentioned the last time that there was a federal bill that may provide Arizona some funding related to CTE. That's number 6, HR 5531. That bill is still in committee, so it's not yet advanced, but I did go ahead and look into the potential funding for Arizona. I believe that was a question at the last meeting. And based on CTE funding patterns, it appears that Arizona would receive anywhere from 10 million to $60 million if that current CTE funding model for Arizona is the same pattern that they use to calculate this.
Do we have a, like, what, in your opinion, what is out of all these bills, the ones that are in the best interest of West-MEC? What are we really tracking that's really gonna hit us, either policy or procedure or give it us with?
The first bill was definitely of concern, the initial one, so, my professional opinion, I'm glad to see that that's no longer active in the legislative process. Unfortunately, the original language actually reduced the number of science and math credits that students would need to receive to have a trades diploma. And that really creates an inequitable diploma system. So I'm hoping that even with House Bill 2478, if that gets wrapped into that we're being aware of what that is and what that could mean. So depending on who's at the table and who has a voice, it could be a strong thing for us at West-MEC in terms of we're more attractive to students who are looking at trades pathways, and that could be a great thing for us. But we have some academic concerns that if those core competencies are reduced, that's not something as an educational institution that we would favor.
So, Ms. Garcia, one of the things that Ms. Mills and I talked about was, you remember for a couple of years, ADE ran the CTE bill, which was either pass your ACT with this very low score at 14 or better, or earn a credential in CTE, and it got killed 2 years in a row. If you're looking for the answer to what you're asking, that's the answer.
Yeah. They didn't run it this year,
but there's not.
And then obviously with number 3, the funding and oversight clarification, that's a really complicated and political issue. And so how it will affect West-MEC still remains to be unseen. And so keeping an ear out to what's happening around that. My colleague Ryan and Jared are also watching that, and so is Dr. Spurgeon. There's a lot of delicate things around that whole situation. So that is something though that we should definitely be keeping an eye on.
Current statute, the way it's written out, works very well for us. We don't want to see any changes to it.
It works very well for everybody else except.
So just as a reminder, in late May or June is when lawmakers actually come to the close of the legislative session. And so between now and then, I'll continue to give you updates each month, and we'll continue to track these different bills, along with anything else that transpires at the Capitol.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Phelps. Okay. On to section E, motion to approve the consent agenda as presented and or amended. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Question?
Can I just get one clarification? We're doing a continuation of employment, but we've always done based on annual review. So if someone doesn't perform, have we already renewed their contract on this?
He said we're renewing, he said, but if somebody ends up with evaluation that may be contrary to that renewal, would that person still be coming back? Or have the evaluations already been completed? Come on.
I just want to make sure I'm
So,
not.
so we're putting all these names on for the 26-27 year.
Correct.
But if someone's review is unsatisfactory, have we already renewed them regardless of performance?
Oh, sure. So that they still, in that particular instance, Board Member Straka, they still would be subject to whatever discipline or action that the district would need to take. It doesn't guarantee them employment or insulate them.
That's all I
any
need to
type
hear.
of action. It's
Thank you, Spence. Any other comments, questions? No? Okay. Motion passes. Thank you. Action and discussion section, number one, this is motion to approve or ratify. Wait, am I on the wrong, correct one? Oh, there we go, yeah, I was on the wrong item. Here we go, motion to approve the employee health benefits plan as presented for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. And we have Miss Kathy Mays presenting.
Good evening, Chairman Ramirez and members of the governing board, Dr. Spurgeon. We are here.
Remember, we're the only district that got no increase for the 26-27 school year out of all the districts that are in Valley Schools. Some had 8, 10, 12, 14% increases. We have 0. People think these for help this next year.
Thank you, Dr. Spurgeon. And we also have Chris, who is our account representative from Valley Schools, who's also here this evening to answer any questions that the members of the board may have. So let's go ahead and get started. The first screen that we have to present this evening is just to give you a historical perspective of the salary increases that employees have received for the last 5 years. From the last increase that was approved in 2024-2025 was a 4% increase. 2025-26 was a 3% increase. And then we have some historical data prior to that. As a reminder, last year, employees were eligible for a 3% increase to base, as well as the approved performance pay that the board approved last year that employees would receive this year if they qualify. The next slide is to give you a historical perspective of the premium increases to insurance or insurance coverage over the last few years. As you know, back in 2025, 2026, we moved over to Valley Schools. When we did that, we saw a 7.2% decrease with the dollars that we contributed to it.
What does that equate to in real money?
It's about 250 to 300,000.
I thought it was a lot more than that. When we compared it to what, ASBO, what we were going through, it was like $2 million.
You know what, I can get that number for you.
But I think some of that we had to put in a reserve fund for future claims because we were moving to self-insured. So some of it was savings on, I don't want to say savings on paper, but it could come back to us if claims remain low.
Okay, and you are correct now that I'm thinking about it. I think the potential savings that we were hoping to get for this year is roughly about 250 to 300,000. But when we switched over from Valley Schools, I want to say you're correct. It was probably 2 to 3 million we're saving. Okay. But I'll get that number for you for sure. And then in 2026, 2027, as Dr. Spurgeon mentioned, we are anticipating that we would have a 0% increase to our premiums for this year if the board approves the plan that we're presenting to you this evening. This slide is lists all of our benefit plans as well as our deductibles, our benefit costs for things like visits, co-pays, lab work. And it's pretty much just a duplication of what we are paying and what our employees are contributing for this year in terms of deductibles. So there is no change, as Dr. Spurgeon had mentioned before. So if the board approves it this evening, then our benefit costs for next year for medical would be approximately 3.4 million.
So Kathy, the only difference in the two sheets between the 2 years is the $150 difference between the deductible for one plan. And that's by statute, by law, we had to raise the deductible $1,650 to $1,700. That's the only difference from last year to this year's plan. We're recommending different things, stay exactly the same to really see what year 2 brings us. And then if we need to make some adjustments from there, we can make it after this year too. But anyway, it looks really, really good.
And so you can see that under HDHP, what the person is talking about, where you see 1,700 as the deductible for individual, then 3,400 for family. Any questions? This slide is a historical look at what we have contributed to our employees' health savings accounts. Most recently in 2025, 2026, employees would receive $1,650. $825 at the start of the school year, and then another $825 at the middle point of the school year, roughly around February or so. And we are recommending that we keep our health savings account contribution the same as last year, so it would be $1,650 if the board approves it. These are this is the list of our coverages that the employers, that we as a district, that we pay. So medical is, of course, United Healthcare, Delta Dental, Cigna, BSP, Sun Life for our life insurance and our short-term disability. We did switch EAP programs this year to CompSci. And we will continue to work with Valley Schools Wellness Program as an additional benefit to our employees.
How does that help the district if we participate in the wellness program?
What it does, Dr. Spurgeon, is it keeps our premium costs lower, because the healthier that our employees are, the, less opportunities that they would have to go, well, not opportunities, but they wouldn't have to go to the doctor, they wouldn't have to have surgeries, they wouldn't have chronic medical conditions. And so those are the high cost drivers. So the healthier that we can keep our employees, obviously they'll do better work for kids and for the district, but ultimately it will lead to lower claim costs. For employee pay, these are optional benefit programs that employees can sign up for. They can apply for life coverage, medical accident, not medical, critical care, hospital, accident, indemnity. We also have an identity theft program and insurance and legal. So these are all options that employees will have an opportunity to enroll in when we go through the open enrollment process in the spring, in May. So our final slide this evening is the administration's recommendation for salaries and benefits for next year. And I'm glad I have my colleague up here, the money guy, who can answer any questions that you would have in terms of the costs involved. So we are recommending a 5% salary increase for all employees. That consists of 2% from the state and 3% cost of living. That amount would be $927,000 if approved. The new positions approved by the governing board, I know that looks like a pretty big figure, and it is, but please keep in mind that those are the positions that have already been approved, in addition to the positions that are on the agenda for this evening.
Kathy, can you tell me, how many employees did we have last year? And then how many do we have this year? And does that include those new positions?
Last year, Mrs. Busum, we had approximately 230 employees.
Okay.
This year, with the new positions, including the ones for this evening, then that would add an additional 23 positions for next year. And that includes
That number will include
That's
253.
The 2.2 million. 23 people.
So roughly the new position, the new campuses, yeah.
So that only covers the 23 additional people.
Salaries, benefits, as well as medical.
And so that would include all of the instructors for the Southeast campus.
Okay, so then what is the $927,000? How many people does that cover?
That's just for the proposed raise for this year for all current employees. They just have all the numbers up there so you can see it all in like one fell swoop.
Okay.
So we'll just get a total comprehensive package. This is how much we're spending, and on the next slide, it's gonna show you how much we're generating in new ADM. We're barely spending just a little over half of what we're getting in new money.
Okay.
That's based on current number of employees,
Yes.
those numbers?
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
on the 230.
What's interesting, that's the lowest raised number I've ever seen in my life. I've been in districts that are just 4 or 5 times that number for that kind of raise.
Can you explain what redirect funding from M&O means?
Yeah, I can do it. So,
I've worked with Dr. Spurgeon and the cabinet to try to find other buckets of money that we can fund positions out of. For example, we received a grant that will be paying for our counselors, our new counselors at the Southeast campus and the Agua Fria campus, I believe. So we have grant money that's gonna pay for that.
And how long does that grant last?
That grant is for 1 year. So to your point, we're gonna be able to pay for a portion of their salary until those grant funds run out. Now we are in the process of applying for the same grant again, but it is a 1 year grant. It's not a state grant, so typically state grants last 3 to 5 years. This is a private grant that we're applying for.
Ms. Boozle, I think Mr. Molina said best at our agenda review. It's, we know we're gonna need the positions in the future. We've just found different ways to fund them, to bring them on, to save the M&O for 1 year until we actually need them. So and I'm not sure what phrase you used, Mr. Molina. Do you remember what you called it?
Off the top of my head, I don't recall, but yeah, it was.
Is that basically so you can accrue ADM?
It's the ADM can catch up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're able to find different funding sources, so that when the kids come in, that ADM catches up with the money we would have spent anyway.
So then our money being brought in is gonna increase.
Well, this is almost a free year for us when you have grant funding and other funding sources.
Do we have any positions that have been funded by something else that aren't gonna be funded next year that we're gonna have to pay?
Nothing that we're have to bring back into M&O, Mr. Straka.
Okay, so, you know, that $530,000, you know, we have day-to-day running expenses. Where are we going to pull that money from?
Sorry, quick question, just to clarify. That's a savings, right? The $530,000. Okay, it's saving us $530,000. Okay.
So other positions where we found additional alternative funding for, that saves the district money out of M&O. So the grant funded positions come off of the money we would spend out of M&O because they're gonna pay for that for the year. There's positions that we can pay for legally through the bond issue when you have big bond projects coming on that we can save. There's money coming from the Indian gaming industry that we just found that we have quite a bit of money there. We're gonna be able to fund some additional positions out of there. I'm always looking for alternate ways to be able to save money for spending out of M&O that may carry us over a year until the ADM money catches back up, so we can pay it. We would normally hire them anyway, but at least it saves us a year of funding coming from other sources. Yeah, that you said till ADM can catch up, yeah. That's a savings.
Member Boozle, there is Fund 20 that Dr. Spurgeon just referred to is referred to as Indian gaming money. This was a fund that was established when the casinos became prominent in Arizona. The district historically has not done anything with those funds, so we have built up funds over the course of a number of years. We receive roughly $180,000 a year, which can fund 2 positions out of that without even touching the balance of the fund. And if we needed to, we have a very soft landing. We have about $800,000 in that fund right now. That if we wanted to spend, you know, $200,000 a year, we're getting $180,000 from the state every year. We're just taking a small bit out of that fund every year.
I was spending some of that money last session.
We did. It was for a position that we were funding last
Yeah.
session. Yeah.
They can only be spent on 4 different things. You wanna list the 4 things?
It can be spent on
Class size reduction.
class size reduction, retention of students, and instructional improvement.
And it was for the ESL teachers.
Have we done any projections on what we're gonna make from the new schools opening next year?
That's gonna be on the next slide.
Okay, next slide.
Any other questions for this slide? Did you wanna?
So you saw, go back one slide. So you saw the cost to do what we're proposing tonight. That go to the $2.5 million is what we're projected cost. Go back up, go back to another slide. And then the projected ADM for our new enrollment's over $5 million. So we're barely spending half of our new money.
So I wanted to explain this slide just a little bit for the board. 9350 is what our adopted budget is right now. That is the budget that we brought in July that the board approved. We have another requirement to revise our budget in May. I'm expecting to revise it roughly about 100 ADM, which will bring another $700,000, roughly $600,000 to $700,000 to the district. And then just based on bringing new campuses and new programs online next year, that's gonna get us all the way up to 9,900. That's just West-MEC central programs. That does not include anything that's gonna happen at the satellite programs. So I would believe a conservative estimate, it's 9,900 is for our projected budget next year. which takes us to an additional $5.1 million in funding from the state.
How much of that money will go back because we give districts a incentive for sending students to the central programs? How much of that $5 million will go back to the districts based on attendance?
Infrastructure, I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I can get it for you. But you're talking about this, the central district rebate that.
Yeah, it's not really, but yeah, the funding formula.
I can get you that. But I know it's not gonna be $2.3 million of additional monies that we're gonna be generating above and beyond what we're asking as far as raises and additional positions.
See, it does us really good to add more central campus students. Because
Yeah.
we're funded at the 0.775, it's all ours versus the 0.25. And we pass some of that back through to them, so
Yeah.
makes a big difference.
Do we have any projection on when our Paradise Valley project's is that gonna contribute to this at all? Or is that something we're just gonna be building out over a year?
They all will pretty similarly, but we've met with Paradise Valley folks and they're talking with their Board of Education now, looking at the property itself. The hang up right now is when we first looked, and Mr. Straka, you were with us when we did our first look, thinking that we might lease the property and renovate it, then that kind of fell through. And then we looked to purchase the 7 to 8 acres that's right behind Vista Verde Middle School. We're not sure if the board's still interested in selling the property or leasing the property, and I'm not interested in leasing the property. So they have to go back and talk to the board about whether or not they're interested in letting us buy the property. The second piece is they're also talking about maybe removing the school itself and doing some workforce housing there. And I'm not interested in being next to workforce housing either. And so if for some reason it didn't work, there's going to be property right around. We're still looking in the same vicinity, the same area, because we think that's a really great place for us to have a location. So 4 to 6 programs.
And Mr. French, just correct me if I'm wrong, I asked that specific question. He said the earliest we would see something in Paradise Valley is 28, 29.
Oh, so that would reflect on these numbers.
We're far out before
Yeah,
we
that's my
invest
question.
at all in Paradise Valley. But thank you for the question.
Figured. Get ahead of you.
I know that they were closing some schools,
This is one of them.
so, okay.
This one already closed. They're closing 5 more.
Yeah, I know there's, it's going on all over the valley.
Elementary schools
Yeah, it's elementary
and middle school.
But also remember Paradise Valley, and I think I shared this before, state land in Paradise Valley just went up for auction at $600,000 an acre. Land at 303 and Lake Pleasant just sold at the same auction for $9,000 an acre. Where do you think affordable housing is?
Yeah.
Where do you think families are going to be? You're not gonna have young kids in Paradise Valley because families can't afford that. You'll have more established families, which would be high school age. And so that's where we come in. But to buy something, you're looking at raw land at $600,000 an acre. 7 acres is, a small campus. And so that's kind of our dilemma in Paradise Valley. Home prices, yeah, it's just.
It's not getting any cheaper.
This is what you, or a flat rate.
Yeah, the starter homes up there are between 600 and $1 million.
So how far along have we come for them to sell those acres?
Right now, we're at a point where they have to visit with their board in executive session, and it wasn't gonna happen last month. We're hoping it happens this month to see what their appetite is for still selling us that property. Now, I know 4 of the 5 board members came and visited our sites in Paradise Valley.
For it, yeah.
Yeah, they toured our facilities and they were very impressed. So I'm hoping that may put them in a place where they feel comfortable and being able to do that. My issue with leasing is because, in 10 or 15 years, we're all not gonna be here probably. And so if for some reason they would want to do something different with that, then they'd be having control over what happens kind of with West-MEC. And then you got the facilities, you got the equipment, and then what happens, you just literally spend a lot of money for something that goes to.
They could essentially take it over. It's like, hey, we want to have our own CTE program, not going to renew the lease. Thank you very much. And then they get everything that we build. So yeah, you can't lease unless they're going to give you a
Come
company.
heck or high water, we're doing something right there because we know for a fact that there are reasons why Paradise Valley students won't come out of the district. So we've got to get something close to them because they are a huge part of our facility. They're a huge part of our district and we have to do something for them. We're just at a crossing point now where we're still waiting for back information. It's the ball's in their court, so we're hoping that ball ends up
coming back in a positive way.
Are there any other land spots available? Have you?
We haven't looked yet. I talked to Ryan today. There's a couple of different land advisors and then ROI. I think are a couple of folks we were looking at to maybe jump out there and maybe do a little pre-look. So if you know of something, because you typically, there's very few things that get past you anyway, so. Land wise.
I think we're still hopeful that we're gonna hear the outcome that we're hoping to hear from their board, and we haven't started that process of finding alternatives.
I know in the general plan for Desert Ridge, there was institutional land allocated south of 101 between Tatum and 56th Street, and it's all raw land. So whoever owns that, if that would be a prime location too for us. But it's probably $1 million an acre being right by the freeway.
Well, the thing's right there next to American Express,
Yes.
Mega Center.
Yeah,
Is that where you worked?
that's where I worked, yep.
You want to take a look?
They haven't done return to office yet either. They're only there 2 days a week, some of them.
My God, it works.
Can I get any other discussion? Can I get a motion to approve the employee benefits plan as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
So I would like to, one of the things we didn't cover and maybe Valley Schools could, our loss ratio on the EPO plan is at 99%. Why do we make a recommendation and not make any changes to that? Ms. Mays, you and I had quite a conversation about that. I mean, I would like to hear from Valley Schools first since they're here. And just for everyone for the board, our loss ratio for HDHP is 61%. Our PPO plan is at 82% and our EPO plan is at 99%. The only reason I believe we're below 100% is the first month, the startup month, was very low on claims. And ever since then, we have not performed well.
We voted, I believe a vote on the floor.
It's on the floor, but also.
In a discussion now. We have a motion and a second.
But the other thing to keep in mind is that we, and Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't anticipate keeping the EPO plan, thinking that we may have to make some adjustments. If we see the rise in costs in year 2, then EPO is the place where we're gonna go first. To be able to make those adjustments. Anyway, I'll let you respond.
That's correct. We've had those discussions before. When we came out, we talked about the EPO plan. But because the plan is running so well, and the important thing is that you want employee satisfaction. And you want to make sure that employees are comfortable with the plan that they have. And to have that change, a lot of times people feel a little bit uncomfortable when that happens. And we had a lot of changes, 2 years ago? So we just thought, you know what, let's review it. 99% is very good, to be honest.
What's typical though?
What we are seeing with a lot of our districts, a lot of them are running about 112 to 124%. If you are running below 100%, I have to say that's fantastic. And we've done engagements with wellness. And constantly look at the claims, have those discussions, look at things that we can do for improvement. We've had our wellness out here. We've started discussions on that where we can get more engagement with the employees. So we're constantly looking at ways that we can fine tune it. But again, we had those discussions that because the district is running very well, just to keep things status quo. And then we'll evaluate it again next year.
So what percentage of the EPO rates would cause us to have a conversation to look at modifying that plan? So if we hit what number?
Yeah, if you went above 100%, I would say 102, 103, because the way you guys have been running, things look really good. But if we see an influx in that, that's when we'll start having those conversations.
And we want to see a complete year.
Yes.
Because right now the data is just up until January. And so we'll have a much better picture by the end of the plan year.
Correct.
Or is that 6 months so far then of data that we have?
Pardon?
We have 6 months of data right now?
Yes.
Yes. Through January, we have 7 months.
7 months, okay.
Our first month of the EPO was 8,000 and then everything since then has been anywhere from 19 to 50,000 a month. So that first month was clearly, and we only have about a $2,000 below what we've paid. And so that's why I just, and when Marcy was here last year, we had this discussion. She said, hey, we've told the employees 1 more year and this would go away. And so here we sit this year, we're not gonna have it go away because we don't wanna make a change. We've talked about to build this plan or do something different. It just seems like it's inequitable to compare to other plans. If you do the member cost for HDHP, it's about $400 a month versus $1,100 a month per employee. Because it's costing us 60% of a much lower rate.
Right now, it's basically paying for itself. We do have a little bit of surplus. Okay.
$2,000 of surplus.
Yes, yeah, which is not much, but
Yeah, and we're gonna be implementing some new programs coming up too. We've had those discussions. They're kind of a little bit under wraps because we've been vetting some providers. But we're looking at some wellness programs to vet for the employees, which we think having that will give them more options and more engagement and to be more take charge of their own well-being. So we're gonna continue those discussions and we're hoping that we'll be able to roll those out. What did we say, like July, October, the latest? So we'll have some new exciting things coming out and we feel that will really help with the claims, with all plans.
So one of the things I asked this before was, there's been, I have a neighbor that works for one of the big health plans, and they said AI has resulted in a big burst of claims from about September of last year to current. Has that played into any of our claims costs?
No, we really scrutinized the claims and when AI stepped in, what they were doing, it's kind of like the old coding. Where providers would have people come into their office and say, let us show you how we can bill your claims and make more money. Well, that's happened with AI. When we see claims over a certain dollar amount, we actually review it and request records. We don't release that claim until we know exactly what was billed to make sure that those claims were, you know, the charges were not segmented out and there's overbilling. So we've been very good at being on top of that. So unfortunately, AI has some pros and they have some cons, but those are one things that we have noticed is there's been a flex and overbilling.
So what I'm hearing is if we hit 102%, this plan should go away.
We'll have those discussions and see what's causing it, yes. Yep.
okay.
Because it's just very, so here's what I would say is, it's a very overly robust plan. And our taxpayers do not have anything like this. 90% of the population is on an HDHP. And so to give that robust of a plan is very, gives a negative thing to some people when they see how.
Well,
rich you are.
I disagree. I think that if the employees are using it, why are they using it? And then is there something we can do to morph a different plan with the same reasons why they're using it? I don't know. Because if they're using it, that's the whole point. If they're using that insurance, that's what they want, and it's not killing our budget, then they can't see, they're happy, they're coming to work, they get what they need to come to work and.
But we're gonna need this data in January of next year, early enough to be able to make decisions if we need to pivot.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, so we can't wait till March to see this data.
We have the experience reporting coming in every month, so we can evaluate that and work closely on that. And what you brought up is a really good point, because the thing with a high deductible health plan is that you will find people are a little more adamant going to the doctor. What's gonna happen is they wanna keep that money in their health savings account. So they think twice, do I really wanna spend that money and go to the doctor? But what happens in those situations is that they potentially can become more sicker. And those claims are gonna be more expensive. So it's nice to know that you have employees that have maybe a copay and they can go in and they can afford to see the doctor. And then also, I don't know if you noticed what I sent you, we're gonna have changes on the high deductible health plan effective 7/1, which will be a benefit, is that we will have that those individuals under a high deductible health plan, if they go to a virtual care provider, not a brick and mortar provider, but a virtual care provider, they will not have a cost. So we're hoping that will help employees get more involved and more engaged and not think twice, should I really go and spend the money? We want them to really take charge of their well-being. So
Will
we're
that also-
constantly looking at things for improvement.
Will that also translate into savings for us?
It will, because like I said, you run the risk potentially of them having higher dollar claims by avoiding care. Mhm.
So with the projected rollout of these new programs that you mentioned, do you have any anticipation in what kinds of savings those might generate?
We'll be
in the
looking
long
at
run?
those, and what we can do is we can have, once we get closer to that, if you want to invite us out, we can have our wellness team, because I'm not the expert in that. But I would rather have someone come out that really looks behind the scenes, looks at the claims, and looks at the savings, so they can answer the questions appropriately.
I do know part of their vetting process is they are looking for somebody, a provider that will stand behind a return on investment promise.
Yeah, that's critical.
They're not looking at people that are, you know, just selling new and shiny, but they're actually gonna stand, they're gonna put their money where their mouth is.
And Mr. Struggle, what might help is just make it a standing board item that Kathy comes each month, maybe starting in September, and provides the ongoing updated report for that number.
I mean, even if they just put it in the content for the board, she doesn't have to come and talk to us, it's just better. I would also like to see, because I have some friends that just turned 65. They've been on the state retirement plan. They are thrilled to now go on Medicare, because Medicare covers so much more. And their supplement is so much cheaper than what they were paying for the state. I think there may be staff members that, how could we enable them to be able to move to Medicare and have better coverage? Are we allowed to do anything to help facilitate that?
We do have Medicare advocates that work for us. We can do lunch and learns. Now, keep in mind, Medicare is constantly changing. There's a lot of Medicare Advantage plans that are gonna be pulling out. So the Medicare advocates that we have, we make sure that they're proficient in Arizona State Retirement System. So that way, when they do meet with those individuals, they fully understand and look at the big picture. Because CMS has a requirement is that you have to know that you are truly moving someone to a richer or better plan. Because if it's not, then you're in a world of hurt. CMS has regulations on that. But we do have Medicare advocates that can come out and do lunch and learns.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd like to know is, my cousin works for a doctor, and she was telling me Medicare is much quicker to approve specialty. She works for a cancer doctor and does patient treatment. And if they approve quicker on Medicare, you get your cancer treatment 2 weeks earlier. And what is your chance of survivor? Is that really true?
I would have to have. proof
And
of
that's what I
Yeah.
would just, you know what? I wanna make sure that if we offer something,
Yeah.
let's give all our staff the best option. If they can get Medicare, is it really to their advantage?
Yeah, and the nice thing about your guys' plan is that, number one, you don't need prior authorization. So there's no delays in that. If they do ask for someone to go to another facility or what have you, United Healthcare has a requirement to review that within 24 hours. So there's expedited reviews on that. So to answer your question is a little difficult because I don't know what the background is on everything. But I know UHC, and we make sure that those standards are met with claims timeliness and customer service.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the question.
So can we just refresh what's on the table?
Yes.
This is for the health plan?
So this is a motion to approve the employee health benefit plan as presented for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. So basically, you're voting on three things: the salary increase, the new positions approved by the governing board, and the redirecting of funding from M&O.
Salary's next.
No salaries next.
Yeah, this is only for the health benefit plan, no changes moving forward, same as this year.
Oh, this is just for the,
Just for the plan.
just for the health plan.
And could we also get the loss ratio for dental? I'm just curious on that.
We just have medical,
We can get it for you.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm-
but it's running really well, I
Yeah,
can't tell you.
I told you about my experience.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if I'm an outlier.
Yeah.
It's because I'm looking at this and the motion at the same
Well,
time.
the reason we did that is to show you the full
Yeah.
compensation picture, so you kind of see it all three together. So
Yeah, that's
Sure that we have plenty of money.
And the motion passed?
It's always something.
It did, it passed, okay, great. Alright, so moving on to the next one. Item number 2 on action discussion. This is a motion to approve the employees.
5% salary.
Employee stipends and a 5% salary increase for all employees, excluding substitute teachers and temporary employees for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. Ms. Kathy Mace.
Good evening again. We are not recommending any changes to the stipend list for this year. So the stipends that you see before you are the same exact stipends as we had last year. And so I stand for any questions.
I see Prop 301 on here. I should have asked this under health insurance. We had moved some money out of Prop 301 to pay for health insurance. And then we found that we had a calculation error. How is that fund now? Are we still able to cover all the health insurance costs for the employees that we had planned to cover it with?
Prop 301 is, we're healthy. I do have to go back and look because it has a supplement, not supplant clause, so I believe we can pay for the teachers' health insurance. But I will go back and look with Kathy on what that actually is and see if we can journal entry that amount. If not, M&O is able to.
And then the 1550 that you see, that's separate from the pay for performance Prop 301 plan. That is an amount that's added to every instructor's contract, just as an addendum.
That's been there for quite a while. Yes, no changes, same as.
Well, yeah, but we also, last year, we implemented the performance pay plan to try and get away from stipends.
I thought we introduced the performance pay plan to reward performance, and then the raise would just be a cost of living raise. Is what I understood it to be.
It's
Last year we proposed 2 and 2 for 4, and the board gave us 3 instead of 4. This year is still cost of living of interest rate. Feeling aware as you made it clear that cost of living plus the raise is separate, because that's what we talked about last year.
do we have more questions on the stipends? The individual stipends?
Yeah,
Did you get a motion to approve this and put it before?
Was that?
Did you get a motion in a second? Put this before yet? No, not yet.
No,
I have several questions.
Let's get a motion.
Yeah, let's get a motion and a second, and then we can discuss.
We present the 5%. The only thing I'd really like to see though is employees that have been here 12 months deserve 5%, but if an employee has only been here 6 months, I think they should only get 2.5%. And if an employee has been here 9 months, they should only get 3/4 of the raise. Because if someone has put 12 months into West-MEC, they deserve to be compensated for 12 months versus someone who has been here only half the year.
You're presenting an emotion?
I'm presenting that motion with the all employees that complete their contract with satisfaction and have been here 12 months would get the 5%. If they've only been here 9 months, they get 3/4% or 3/4 of, and 6 months, they'd get half. Because before, I think what we've done is just said, you have to be here 6 months.
Well,
And
I think we need to have a motion on the floor to start the discussion.
And that's what the motion I'm making, the 5%, but we award it for employees have to have been here full 12 months. And I'm just saying, make it 3/4 if they've been here 9 months and 50% of the raise if they've been here 6
So
months.
I understand what you're saying, but let's get a motion on the floor.
And that's my motion. I'm making that motion.
Does anyone second that motion? Okay,
So this
here,
is, this is only for the raises. This is not for
Well, and approve the
stipends.
stipend. Right.
and to approve the stipends.
Oh, I still want to talk about the stipends.
Well, we can pick a motion on the floor.
So there,
I move that we consider this and then we can
well, we
start
already have,
amending other things.
well, we have this motion. Does anyone second Frank's motion? If it is seconded, then we go into discussion and then we vote. If nobody seconds, then it dies and we go to a new motion.
I'll second.
Mhm. That he's including approval of the stipends as presented in his motion. Okay. Okay, so you withdraw your second.
Well, with the stipends, yes, I just, as far as the 5% raise and, what did you say, 6 months would be 50%?
9 months.
9 months would be 3/4, whatever.
Motion to accept it as is.
Well, we have to consider this motion.
Second.
Yeah, so you're not seconding it because you don't
Not,
approve of,
not the stipends,
Oh, okay.
I don't want to.
Okay. alright,
I think
so.
the stipends, can we just approve the stipends? Because I think that's a
Okay.
pretty straightforward thing. It's the
Well,
same.
so now we need a new motion.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we need a new, okay, so you're making
Make
the
it a motion
motion.
to approve it as is. and go to
Okay.
commission.
Okay, and you second? Okay, now, so we're back to the original motion. We have a second. Is there any additional discussion?
Now we can have a discussion.
Before we go into,
Yeah.
before I call the question.
Okay, so we can start talking about the stipends.
Yes.
Okay. The nursing instructor, okay, she's been getting that $5,000 stipend since 2024. Why can't we include that in her job description and just include it in her salary? I think that, that our stakeholders really need to know that our salaries need to be transparent. And when we have stipends, they don't see that. And it needs to be transparent. They're the ones that are paying salaries and stuff like that. And she's been doing this for so long, I think it should become part of her job description.
Is this something that can be done?
I have an issue with that, and that is if you make it part of the salary, then it goes forward. Your increase, your 5% increase or your 3% increase or whatever is based now on 105% of what it was before. Or
It doesn't bother me at all.
But
She-
also, she is doing, I think, supervisory of the program, and if she withdraws from that supervisory and it goes to somebody else, we can't lower her
we can't lower
salary.
the salary.
And so I think it makes more sense as these additional duties of supervising the nursing program comes with a $5,000 stipend.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you remember, we couldn't find somebody for the position, so we were paying her the stipend to oversee, because somebody has to do it. But now we actually found 2 individuals to be able to oversee this or provide supervision. We didn't find them yet? I thought we had
So
2 of them.
it's the State Board of Nursing requirement that you have a program coordinator that oversees any type of nursing program. That coordinator position has very specific requirements in order for them to do that. Our current instructors that we have right now, our former instructor was able to do it. She met those requirements, so she got that stipend to do that job. Right now, our current instructors do not meet that requirement, so we now have to pay somebody as that coordinator on top of it. That is outside of our industry. So that stipend was for our current instructor, but they no longer meet that, so now we have to pay for that outside.
Okay.
For the additional thing, so it's not always, yes, that instructor can get it, or they can't.
We
Well,
have one on
we
the
already
floor.
have a motion, so we're in discussion
So
right
we
now.
can make an amendment to the existing motion.
Any other discussion?
And I do have another question. It's separate. Sorry. But, what is the difference between a writer counselor and a lead counselor?
So the lead counselor more or less, and my colleagues can probably explain it better than me, but they kind of get the counselors together, they set agendas for the all counselor meetings. They are leaders in that industry and they probably look for professional development activities for them. So they just kind of take the lead on not just the campus administrator supervising those individuals, but again, they just bring them together and kind of take the lead on professional development meetings and stuff like that. Oh, Jared.
Yeah, and just to clarify also on this, so that lead counselor stipend along with, although they're listed as separate stipends, just to clarify, all those that say classroom site fund are built within our comprehensive classroom site fund plan. Our classroom site fund 301 plan with its own funding source. So that is not an additional stipend.
Right.
That's embedded within our plan. But we do have to include it for your approval on this list, but these are not separate in the performance pay plan for all those employees, including counselors, teachers, and career coaches that are part of the plan who are not getting the other performance
So
pay.
it's not an additional stipend above the classroom site fund.
Yeah, it's correct. It's embedded within that.
It's one of the menu items.
We offered, it has to come on this list for your approval.
So one question, these stipends may vary from stipend to stipend. But are these paid in full at the beginning, at the end of the school year, or in a pro rata form, depending on the tasks?
Right. Some of them, like for example, where Jared was talking about the classroom site fund, that is a one-time payment that's paid at the end of the year. For example, the $1,550 that you see, that's added to the instructor's contract and it's spread over their pays for the year. If they do if they go on a trip or something like that and they're getting that outside duty compensation, that's usually paid the next payday or as soon as we get all the paperwork to verify that they did the work. So it really just kind of depends on the stipend itself, how they're actually paid out.
So what are you considering outside duties?
So if they're doing some curriculum work, so we're bringing on a new program. And so, they may have to do some additional research or program planning or whatever, and those hours are submitted to the administrator. The administrator would approve them and then they come to us for payment.
Does that
So
include
that's
like,
an example.
does that include like meeting with business partners and getting curriculum from them or? Okay. All
And
right,
then these stipends are only for West-MEC employees.
That's correct.
And so if someone's transferred to ESI, they no longer get the stipend.
No, if they do go to ESI, then we do give them, because they're doing the work, so we do compensate them.
And so that's where I get a little bit concerned because as a contractor, there's a lot of legal cases that you have to keep employees and treat contractors like contractors. Otherwise, there's this gray area and you end up having to provide additional benefits to contractors. So I'm a little bit uncomfortable with saying, hey, these stipends are for employees and contractors.
has this issue already been addressed with council?
I personally have not. However, what I have done in some of my former roles is that I restricted our ESI employees that, unfortunately, you're not eligible for any outside duty pay. But that said, ESI does have a vehicle for us to compensate them if we choose to do so as a district. We just have to make sure that we include that in the paperwork that we send.
Could we just get clarification from unemployment legal counsel that we can do this as employee stipends can be given to a contractor and it doesn't violate that employee contract gray area? Cause I just don't want it to come back and bite us later. Sure. Did you amend that to approval from council? Mr. Garcia?
On ESI employees?
Yes, I would motion to amend my original to
include advice from council along with the contractors.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
That one too.
all right, so Mr. Molina seconds. All right, go ahead and what's that?
It's right.
Safe part of this. It's the exact motion you see on there.
Okay.
Then the addition is to also to receive counsel or to receive information from council regarding the contractor stipend.
So it's specific, hey, can we treat contractors like employees and not violate the case precedents.
Well, I don't want to slow this down, so the intent is just to get clarification, correct?
That's it.
Yeah.
Right, we just need clarification that we can do it, is legal counsel can advise us, are we not crossing that gray area?
Just that subject, because we are in March, next time we meet will be April, and we're getting towards the end of it. We can pay.
Yes, the only contractors that we're referring to are ESI employees, because those are former employees of ours. We don't pay any other contractors any of the stipends, so ESI would be the only one that. Are you asking for clarification on?
No, just that, well, just, and make sure that in general, you know, if there's anywhere else that we're doing something that, hey, we need to treat contractors differently. I mean, like, if a contractor traveled for me when I was at American Express, I had to pay him each hour he was on an airplane, his travel time. It's a different set of rules, and so just make sure we're following them.
Okay, so let's just drop, we can add on there says to receive clarification from legal counsel, we can face stipends to ESI points.
Yeah, or the guidance of how that should work.
Clarification and or guidance.
Okay, all right, we'll call the question. Did everyone vote?
I'm waiting for Mr. Stroud.
Wait, kicked me out.
Yeah, the speeding up our
I had
internet.
to sign back in.
Didn't like your amendment.
You gotta keep it refreshed the whole time, otherwise it logs it out.
It's making me log in.
You wanna give a verbal? All right, motion passes. We're on to agenda item G3. And this is a motion to approve staffing request as presented. Remember, this is the one where we made that edit. That second to the last, second from the bottom. Position should read, instead of reclassification, it should say additional position. All right, Ms. Weiss?
Thank you, Chairman Ramirez. There are 7 positions that we are presenting to you this evening for consideration as additional positions for the upcoming school year. We've listed the position along with the hiring range and the funding source. As you can see, most of these positions will be M&O funded, with the exception of a couple that we are looking to pass on some of the cost to grant funding. And I didn't know that are partially grant. And so, if you have any questions,
Have we made any changes to the hiring ranges?
not yet. Next month,
What's a C&I specialist?
curriculum and instruction specialists, they would be like an instructional coach.
Okay.
This is an individual, I believe, Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, that's gonna help work closely with that the TQI process and evaluating all of the member districts.
Yeah, that's good. And the answer was no, you're not gonna get it till we find a different way to pay for it. I scrutinize everything they bring, they'll tell you.
So this will not change, correct? Next month?
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to say. We're growing.
Well, I know, but yeah, it's new positions. Why would it change? It should be the same.
correct?
Can you just refresh my memory how we, when we hire somebody and we look at their salary of what they were making and then compare it to other people in the same position, how we make sure that we don't bring someone in above someone that's been here multiple years and everything?
That is correct.
So can you just what's the process? Just refresh my memory.
I've actually set that up, board member Straka, because yes, to your point, I do look at what the employee was or potential employee was making in their current employer, and I ask for documentation of that. Then I look at all of the same members in that same classification or in that position. And I look at their hire date and I look at their education and I look at their experience. And then I just compare. So someone who's been here for 10 years with a master's degree, I take that into consideration when I compare them against a new staff member potentially coming in.
Okay.
Now, that said, though, because of the industry, sometimes I've had to make some additional consideration. If it's a hard to fill position, for example, like aviation, then I may have to negotiate a little bit higher, but I do take that all into consideration. I've developed in the last couple of weeks a little bit more of a standardized, so I have a value associated to education, experience, licensure in their current field. So I'm really putting numbers to all of these considerations as opposed to, well, I think, they should come in at this level. So then if we're in question, I'll be able to back that up.
Very good. Additional credentials matter.
Yes,
Additional
in
credentials.
my new setup, yes. I list all of them. All of their additional certifications have a value. She's got support.
No, and that's what I thought we did, but I just wanted to refresh my memory and I'm happy to hear that. That's.
Do we have like a master list of all the positions we have at West-MEC, and then as they disappear or they get vacant or someone leaves, it's something we update, kind of like a big picture plan?
A staffing plan, yes. And we look at that every year, potentially like right around November-ish. I'll start the communication with the administrators and say, these are the staff members that you have. Would you like to request any new positions or eliminate any positions that need to go? And then we send that to cabinet for review, and that's how we come up with these lists of.
I'd like to see the master list.
Of all positions?
Yeah, all positions. I'd be very, very curious.
And for what campuses?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Totally changes, but I think it'll show us context of how things move with positions. Positions come up, positions go down. Yeah, I like that stuff.
So just a staffing list for this current school year?
So we have like in AD, we have a master, like I know that my department can only have 62 employees.
Okay, so the number of.
And I have all my employees stacked. And I know who's vacant, I know all the vacancies, I know when they were vacant. I can see it all in one shot. So whenever someone says, I need somebody, I could look and, yeah, you don't have any space.
Well, I'm pretty selfish. I have that in HR, but
I
I'd
mean, it's
like
just,
for us to share.
For me, in
that.
my mind, in my experience, I think the planning, just to understand the big picture, make sure we're not just making stuff, not that we're not, we are, but cause I know that we move with the new schools coming up, we don't really know the demand. But I believe that just looking at it kind of gives me context.
The way our system works with visions is positions are vacated and you really can't force anybody into that position. So there's different checks and balances that we have between Ryan and I and our offices. Yeah, that we're looking to make sure that it's a true vacancy or it's a new position. All of that has to be set up in visions, and it helps to kind of keep us honest.
Yeah, I know for sure.
I think this first year, I'll be bringing in an updated four credential chart pretty soon, probably the next few months. To make sure we get everything organized, because there's been some changes, responsibilities have been moved. Because of situations in the past, but there have been some things that changes, so that's gonna come to the board sometime between now and June.
What would also be helpful is, technology is changing and I'm just gonna say, like an admin assistant. 20 years ago, she had to coordinate calendars, call people just to set up a meeting. Now with Microsoft Office, you pick in a time, you can find it. As things evolve, what I haven't really seen is, how are we updating positions, transitioning people into newer responsibilities, because these responsibilities have kind of gone away. I haven't really seen a lot of that. And how do we?
You're looking for a job description for each position then?
No, I'm looking for, as technology changes roles.
Session plan.
It's not a succession plan, but as technology changes roles, hey, we know that we're going to have online enrollment, so I'm not gonna need someone to enter this anymore.
Yeah, that function is no longer needed.
Right, what's our process to identify those people and move them into a new?
Sounds like a future agenda item.
How do we, yeah.
The motion.
Never mind.
I like that idea.
It's been there, Frank. Come on, son. Took it too hot.
Yes.
Do we have a motion on?
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the staffing request as presented. We only got 3 seconds. We'll go with Mr. Molina.
Do you want to say with the correction of the?
Yes, okay, motion to approve the staffing request is presented with the correction of the
Reclassification.
yeah, for the safety and security specialist maintenance, instead of reclassification, it should read additional position.
Second that.
Yeah.
All right, call the question.
3-6.
Not you. Well, Violet kind of probably.
Okay, motion passes. Future agenda items, I think Mr. Straka had a future agenda item, like a report on how.
Well, just, yeah, on how we identify, hey, this technology is kind of taken over this position. How do we train somebody to move into something different? And because we really don't see, hey, this position's been eliminated, we've taken this position in person and moved them over here because this skill set better fits here.
Or even, maybe it doesn't take over the full position, but how do we readjust that position?
Right.
Yeah,
I
okay.
could tell you this coming year, APE is gonna start requesting more information on the database collection.
Okay.
They're gonna do a big rollout coming out, so that means all the schools are gonna have to report additional work-based learning data
Okay.
and CTE data, so.
Okay. And then Mr. Garcia had the future agenda item, a request for the report of.
Yes, I got
Okay.
that one, and I would still like to see the results of that employee survey.
Yeah, it's coming.
I'd like to see that come out as well.
All right, any additional future agenda items? No, okay, hearing none, motion to adjourn the meeting.
How much you adjourn meeting?
We have some documents to send as well.
Oh, my God.